So I'm Hermann Einsele. I'm based in Würzburg, Germany. I'm the chairman of the Department of Internal Medicine, where we have quite an extensive myeloma program. So I was asked to describe the 5 most exciting topics I found to be addressed at the International Myeloma meeting in Vienna, which took place last week. And so what I specifically was impressed about is the tsunami about immunotherapy that is really occurring. And we see a lot of novel T-cell redirection strategies really coming into the clinic, currently in clinical trials, but increasingly now also be available outside of clinical trials. One of the most interesting and most impressive studies is clearly the CARTITUDE-1 trial, in which a new CAR T-cell product, cilta-cel, was administered to patients that had received 6 lines of prior therapy. And in spite of these heavily pretreated patients, an overall response rate of 100% and a complete remission of 80% could be achieved. So this is really, and the progression-free survival seems to be around 2 years. So this is really a completely new treatment, which is obviously improving the efficacy and the long-term control of myeloma. In addition, another CAR T-cell product, ide-cel, was also presented at the meeting. This product is already approved by the FDA and the EMA. And in a presentation, the question was addressed whether these CAR T-cells targeting BCMA might be also applicable to patients that are beyond age 65 or maybe even 70. And in this presentation, it could be shown that even patients beyond 65 or 70 years tolerate the new cellular immunotherapy very well. There was no difference in toxicity when compared to the younger patient population, and also the efficacy as determined by overall response rates and by progression-free survival was similar in the elderly when compared to the younger patient population, clearly indicating that obviously this novel cellular therapy can also be applied in the elderly patient population. Then there have been several presentations about so-called bispecific antibodies. These are antibody constructs that redirect T cells to the tumor cell. And one very impressive presentation targeted the teclistamab, which is a bispecific antibody which addresses also the BCMA molecule on the myeloma cell. And in this trial, patients received subcutaneous and IV bispecific antibody, and again in heavily pretreated patients, the overall response rate was beyond 60%, and quite a lot of patients also achieving CR and remaining in CR for more than 6 to 9 months. So again, a very interesting treatment strategy. Then there have been reports that there is, unfortunately, to see antigen escape. So the myeloma cell that is targeted by a CAR T cell or a bispecific antibody, which is directed against the BCMA molecule, are losing this surface target. And then the myeloma cell is BCMA negative and thus cannot be further addressed with BCMA targeting agents. And this was also, and the mechanism was described at this meeting. But also the solution for this problem has been presented. So there are two new bispecific antibodies targeting surface antigens beyond BCMA, like FCRH5 or GPRC5D, and especially bispecifics targeting these two antigens have been successful also in patients that actually failed BCMA targeting immunotherapy. So we already have the solution for the antigen loss. And I think with these 5 presentations, I could show that there is really a lot of new immunotherapeutic strategies ongoing, and that they are going to be applied in earlier lines of therapy, and so hopefully being even more successful than they have been in these late lines of therapy they have been applied up to now. And I think if we include bispecific antibodies and CAR T cells into the treatment concept of myeloma, we will definitely increase the complete remission rate of MRD negativity, and significantly also progression-free survival, and hopefully also the cure rate.